Hi everyone, today we're going to look at how to include strength training around your running week. There are loads of different approaches to this, so I'm just going to list a few different options you've got and a few pros and cons of each of these and essentially leave you to decide. There is no one concrete answer for this, it's a really personal choice. Most importantly, we have to factor in the logistics. Does it really work for you with the way you have to do things around work and family life and things like that? So one of the two major approaches are either having 2 or 3 bigger sessions a week of say 45 to 60 minutes, or by doing kind of what we call microdosing, so small amounts of exercise 5 to 7 days per week. I tend to lean towards the latter. I have done the 2 to 3 bigger sessions per week in the past. What I found was that my body was very, very tired, and then with the amount of training and days I was running, it was then really impacting it. So I'd be very, very sore coming into my harder sessions, and equally it didn't work then doing the bigger sessions on the back of a harder interval run or something, or like a long run as well, because I was taking a lot of training in one day and probably wasn't really giving myself a chance to repair and recover. So that's one of the potential negatives of doing a 2 or 3 day split on top of the top of interval work and long run training, in that you will be very, very tired, and those are sometimes really quite negative things. You'll feel sluggish on your runs and you can't really get up that speed. The other side is, if you can get through the first few weeks of that, you are hitting some really intense days and your body can adapt incredibly well. This is a really individual choice, and I would say this is generally for people who are very, very injury free, because they can push their body generally quite hard. If you're somebody slightly more injury prone, I would probably lean away from that approach into more microdosing. So microdosing is exactly what it sounds like. Very, very small amounts of exercise, 5 to 7 days per week typically. It can be less frequent. It can be, microdosing 1 day per week is a starting point. Depends on where you're coming from and kind of what your own goal is ultimately as well. In microdosing, generally looking at sort of 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes at a push, depending on the intensity of work you're going to do. I wouldn't include kind of stretching work and foam rolling in this. That is not your strength work, so please don't get that kind of mixed up in here. That is a separate thing that will not be adding intensity to your recovery strategies. So this is intense exercise or more corrective type exercise that you're going to be doing throughout your week. This is the approach I use. It allows me to do a little bit each day. I can pick and choose the types of exercise that fit depending on the exercise or the type of run I'm doing or have done that day. So what you can do, basically, you can pick and choose 2 or 3 exercises, generally 3 to 4 sets of each one, and that will do the trick really nicely in the time frame you have. You can mix up some upper body work in here as well, some postural work, and then go really quite heavy on some of the harder sessions in the middle. Just make sure you do warm up for these. One of the advantages of the bigger sessions is you do get a chance to really warm up into that. Microdosing can be quite tricky. I mean, you end up with kind of subpar results because you can't push your body that hard necessarily in that time frame, depending on what you're doing and how safe you wish to be. Again, because I'm quite injury prone, I have to be quite gentle with this initially and kind of build into it. So I do tend to do this off the back of a run or off the back of a kind of bit of a warm up, which I don't include as part of that time frame. So when it comes to the timing of your runs and timing strength training together, this, I say, can be a big impact on your training. Big sessions on the big days of your runs as well, very, very tiring. On the non-hard run days, can leave you tired for the harder runs. So pros and cons really aren't too much there. It's just down to personal preference. When it comes to microdosing, again, it depends how you adapt to training. If you've suddenly kind of increased the amount of strength training you're doing, you will probably be tired no matter what you do. So you want to split this apart from your runs as much as possible. So if you're running in the morning, I'd generally say strength train in the afternoon or evening when it's going to be away from that. Have your body some time to recover, and also having a meal after that is going to be important to let you recover and start getting into it, and then ready for the next morning to do another run perhaps, or whatever else you might be doing. It's not the only option, so you can go into a strength session immediately after a run depending on how you feel. If you've gone through a fairly light run, then jumping on to a 15-minute, 20-minute workout of gentle strength training or even quite intense strength training can be great because your body's already warm, it's already working. I probably wouldn't do this off the back of a particularly intense session, although again it can be done. The downside being that you can't really then push yourself necessarily hard enough. If you're coming off the back of a 7 to 11 mile kind of hard intense interval run, coming in and then trying to do some deadlifts or some lunges probably isn't going to go very well. You're going to be really getting limited results because you're not able to test your muscles. That said, it will help the endurance. So it depends on whether you're looking for strength training for strength purposes, or whether you're looking at more body composition, whether you're looking at it from mobility strength work, or whether you're looking at it from a purely endurance point of view. So the benefits really, really vary depending on when you want to do it and also what is going to be your goal at the end of it as well. So I haven't given you any clear answers, and that's very, very deliberate because it really depends on your own circumstances. I'll probably do some other videos down the line on this, looking very specifically at when to time your strength training if you're looking for speed or for endurance, but that's in a different video. For now though, just introduction to strength training and when to put it into your day. See you soon.